Happy freaking Monday. Thanks, brother. Thank you. Festive, being festive. Um, yeah, we have two of them actually. I was just telling Katie she should have wore her hat. Katie was like, I was gonna wear that hat today. I was like, we have two. You could have wore your hat today. I actually think we have three. um, yeah, guys. Thank you guys for showing up today. And it's a short week, so some people are trying to get it in, and some people are already on vacation. And then probably most everybody's probably somewhere between. So just appreciate you guys for your guys' attention for this hour. And yeah, the goal is to give you guys a good ROI today and to give you guys a present today that hopefully will serve you not just for today in 2025, but into 2026 and beyond. And yeah, we're going to talk a lot about giving gifts, talking about, and really specifically talking about giving pay raises and bonuses and how do we do that um, in a way that serves both the person and the business at the same time. So that's the goal for today, guys. But before we get into that, um, yeah, last week, if you guys were on here, how many of you guys were on here last week? Some of you guys were on here last week. How many of you guys have been here on all the calls? You know who's on the call number one? There's two people, Janessa and Marie. I went and watched it when we were getting ready to hit 83K for the first time in Mesa. And on that first call, I remember talking to both Marie and Janessa on that call, and that was 95 weeks ago. So
Wait, did you mean Bozeman? You meant 83K in Bozeman.
no, I meant when we hit 83K in Mesa, the whole reason we started this call was we were starting our journey of a Mesa five-star cleaning to get it to $1 million. And when we hit 83K a couple weeks ago, then I went back and just looked at episode one of the Road to a Million of when it all started. And you know what? I was actually wearing the shirt. The irony was in that. So if you go back and watch episode one, I'm wearing the shirt. I look a little bigger now than I did 95 weeks ago. But most importantly, the people who were on there, there was like 10 or 15 people on there, but Janessa and Marie were one of the two people who were on there. And neither of them were coaching clients at the time. And now they're both coaching clients. And both their businesses are much bigger now. And yeah, it's definitely a result of this whole process. So like, it's not just the call, it's not just the mentorship, it's not just coaching, but it's like the whole ecosystem. And I think that's one of the things that some people that I just get more bought in every single day. It's like it's everything. It's never just one thing. It's just like it's all the things combined that give you momentum to get to continue to move forward, make progress, especially in a marketplace where yeah, everything's stacked against you guys. If you guys think that it's stacked against you, correct. You are right. Like a new business coming into a marketplace, an established marketplace, like the probability of you winning is very low. If you do what you know what to do, which is like you don't know. How many of you guys have built $1 million businesses before? How many of you guys in here have done $83,000 in a month? Yeah. Julia raised her hand and Lucas raised their hand. Two people, right? It's very very rare, guys. Like it's not easy. And I want to make sure that as we talk about this goal as being something that 100% is achievable, it's 100% an extraordinary goal, which means that ordinary people don't hit extraordinary goals. It's very challenging. It's very hard. Also, like just effort alone isn't good enough. You can't just work hard. You actually have to be, there also is a level of skill that is required in order for you to build $1 million business. And so the point of this call specifically is to help you raise your ceiling on what you believe is possible. Because there was a time in my life where I was like, $83,000 a month is like unfathomable. In fact, $83,000 in a year was unfathomable. I remember I had this client. So um, when I started my gym business, as much as I would love to call it a business, it was just me personal training people is really what it was for the first probably year and a half to 2 years. And I remember I had this client. Her name was Voss. Katie, you might know Voss.
Yep.
And she was a client who actually came with me when I was a personal trainer at the gym, which was called The Ridge. I left there to start my business. She was one of the clients who she intermittently trained. She intermittently trained with me, which means that like she was inconsistent, but she liked me. Um, And I remember doing a coaching session with her one time, and somehow we got on the topic of money, and she was somebody at the time who I had a lot of respect for, and she made good money, and she was very well respected in our community. And she was like, "Yeah, I remember when I made my first $100,000 in a year." She's like, and I don't remember what she said after that. I was just like, "Whoa, like this lady's rich, right? $100,000 in a year." And that was the time where I was doing, $5,000 a month of top line revenue. So I was doing $60,000 in revenue, and I was profiting, nothing basically. And did that for many, many, many years. And so to even think that like $83,000 in a month is fathomable was not real for a very, very long time. And if you guys were on here last week, again, I don't know if you guys were on here last week, but if you were on here last week, I shared that between our Bozeman location, our Mesa location, and our Sacramento location, we did $65,000 in a week, which was crazy. I was like, that was definitely the most that we've ever done, ever, between all three companies. Um, but then we did more this week. We did more. And so, um, yeah, Elia was on that call last week, and you could tell her she was definitely a little upset because I think last week Mesa did around 23, Bozeman did around 28, and then Sacramento did, I think, 13 or 14, which somehow that number got to 65. But this week, Kitty, do you want to pull the numbers up? Should we do the numbers here? Do you want to pull them up? So I know what Mesa is because we just did Mesa's vision meeting. So Mesa had a PR last week. It said the most it's ever did, $25,000, $25,140, I think is what the number was. And again, guys, like this call started because of Mesa. We started this call with zero. Like again, Janessa Marie, you guys were on that call. Literally started with zero freaking clients. And 95 weeks later, about 22 months later, I think it's been, that business does $25,000 a week. And the last 4 weeks, it did 23 last week, 22 the week before that, 22 or 23 the weeks before that. So like it's pretty consistent now, which is it's wild. Like it started from zero freaking dollars, zero freaking reputation, zero freaking anything, in a totally different market, like than our first business, which is in Montana. So I just like we had zero advantages, which gives me so much confidence in the system. And then I see the people like the Jessica Lucases and the Julia Callahans who also like take the system. Jessica and Lucas had a business; they had a business for 10 years, and the most they ever did was $20,000. And when they started coaching and they started using the system, they were doing 13,000. So they actually had lost revenue. And in less than 2 years, now they're doing over 100,000. And I just saw Lucas's vision sheet this morning. Lucas, you can put it in the chat if you want, but I will say the freaking number. But they did $31,000 last week in a week.
Oh yeah.
When we started coaching, they were doing $13,000 a month. They just said $31,000 in a freaking week. Same human beings. I shouldn't say that. They're not. They're not the same human beings. I mean, externally, they're the same humans. Internally, they are completely different human beings. Like their skill sets, wildly different. How they think, wildly different. And of course, their actions, wildly different. Just insane. $31,000 in a freaking week, right? Insane. Insane. Okay. Sorry, I got distracted. So Mesa did 25,000. Um, what did let's do SAC first. What did Sacramento do?
SAC did 12,500.
Okay, so we have 25,140 plus 12,000 what?
12,450.
Okay. And then what did Bozeman do?
Bozeman did 36,320.
36,300 and oops, 320. Oh, I messed this up so bad. 36,320. So altogether it did $74,000. $74,000 in a week. Yeah, crazy numbers, guys. Crazy numbers. Um, if you guys want to know what the equivalent run rate is for a $74,000 a week, it's $4 million. I actually think it's 76 is the actual number. So, but it's almost a $4 million run rate is $76,000 in a week. It's crazy, crazy. And so the reason I want to share with you guys, I'll be honest with you, is to like give you guys like just a little like what we're going to talk about today. It doesn't come from I think it should be this way. I believe it's this way. It comes from this is what we're doing. And so I encourage you that like what we're going to talk about today most likely is different than what you're currently doing. Your thought processes are different. And so um, see that as a good thing, not a bad thing. See it as like there's a gap between what your version of reality is and what the reality it takes to actually build a $4 million business. And also just understand that like Kate and I's only intention is for you guys to get better. We have no intention for anything else other than to see you guys grow. And selfishly, because understand that like like everything that we do comes back to it benefiting us. And so I just want you guys also to understand that like while I see Julia and Jessica and Lucas's lives change, like you guys also change our lives. Like you guys make us better. We learn more. We're able to teach other people like the Marie Jeds and the Autumn Dells and the Kaylas and then the Netties. We're able to also like take what we learn from you guys and then teach them and they're able to get better. Right. And the better that we get as a unit, the better we are individually, the better we are as a unit. And full transparency, there's no way that we could have done $74,000 last week with just Katie and I. In fact, we actually didn't do any of the operations of either of those businesses. None of them. We made zero sales. We hired zero people. We talked to zero cleaners between all three locations. How many of you guys watch baseball? Anybody? Professional baseball, specifically. Like a couple months ago in October, and even to the first day of November, there was a World Series between the Dodgers and some freaking team in Canada. I don't know what team that's in Canada, right? But the Dodgers ended up winning their second World Series in a row. And the Dodgers have a player on their team who is arguably and definitely financially recognized as the best player in baseball. Okay. His name is Shohei Ohtani, right? And 2 years ago, the Dodgers signed him, and his contract was worth $700 million over the course of 10 years. And when he signed that contract, it still is and was at the time like biggest contract in baseball. There's a lot of people who were like overpaid, paid too much. That's crazy. Like the number itself just sounds wild, right? Like few people in here, including myself, can understand what $700 million actually is. Like just seems like a lot. Seems excessive, right? However, that was 2 years ago that they made that deal. And within the very first year, the Dodgers added an additional $700 million of revenue, not profit, but revenue because of that signing in the first year. And so while some people were like, he's overpaid, the Dodgers were like, yeah, but he's still worth it. There's going to be players on your team that you're going to pay twice as much than you're going to pay for another player on your team, another person on your team. And they're still going to be worth it. And that person on our team is Alaya. She makes literally double than anybody else does. And we still get a better deal. And so I'm going to share with you guys today about how to actually give people raises, how to give them bonuses, and why you want to pay your people more. And if you actually use these bonus structures and these incentives, it becomes an alignment with your business. And you want your, like, when you have your first employee make over 6 figures, like that's it's a milestone. Just like the first time you make 6 figures, it's a freaking milestone. So analyze on here. It's amazing.
I don't even know how.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and just as a reference point, so you guys are all filled in. So we have 2 office staff in Mesa. Kazaya, who's our GM, she actually took RTO. She's actually on a plane right now. She's on a plane back for Christmas, and our second office person didn't show up today. And these are one of those moments where it was like, this is why Eli is valuable, is because not only does she grow that Bozeman location, what did they do last week, Katie? What was the number?
36,000.
Yeah. She also now is going to do the job in Mesa as well and in Bozeman. So the point of today, guys, is to help you guys be able to create clarity and have a structure around when you have superstars on your team, the Otanis and the Rodgers on your team, like pay the man slash woman, because no matter how much you pay them, as long as it's in alignment with the business, like it's still a good deal. Okay, Katie, should we dive in today?
Let's do it.
I'm gonna get aggressive. I'm gonna go backwards hat for this one. It's kind of like aggressive, but you got the little fur ball on top, so like it's not too serious. Okay, so Katie, what is the ultimate goal for giving somebody pay or raises or bonuses? Like, what is the actual goal?
To make them feel valued.
I think, guys, we got to understand this. Is like it's to make people feel like the work that they put in, the efforts they do, it doesn't go unnoticed. That is the worst thing you can do for somebody is to expect people to perform high and to not give them recognition for like being a high performer. Because the reality is like high performer in the definition means that like most people are not, like they're just performers. Sometimes they're low performers. High performers are very rare. And so by providing opportunity for increase in wages is just like it's less about the money. Like you're never going to solve someone's money problems. I think that's the part that we want to get away from. Like, if somebody has a personal money problem, no amount of money is going to solve it, because there's 2 sides to the equation. There's income and expenses, and most people's money problems come from too many expenses, not from not enough income. Okay. The biggest mistake I see people make is that when somebody has a problem, they try to use money as a way to fix it. They try to use a bonus or they try to use a raise as a way to solve somebody's problem. And so I came up with this concept so to make it easier for my team when they're having conversations with staff, and we call these either -1 to 0 conversations or 0 to 1 conversations. And so I'll share with you guys what a -1 to 0 conversation is. It's when somebody has a problem. You guys will probably have a lot of these conversations. Cleaners aren't showing up, they're calling out. We have issues where somebody is actually below the standard. I call those people that are at -1. And so the goal for the conversation is to make them aware that they're -1, ask if they want to improve, and then if they do, show them the path to get to 0. Show them the path just to be a human being who gets to play on this team. That's a -1 to 0 conversation. Okay. The biggest mistake I see people make is they try to dangle carrots, like pay raises and bonuses in order for somebody to better the behavior. And like that's not how you solve those problems. You actually solve it with here's what you're doing, here's you need to fix it, and we don't use an incentive to try to solve that problem. We actually solve the problem at hand. So that means that you as the leader must understand what the problem is and the solution to solve it, and that's where most people struggle. So as much as you think it's a them problem, it's usually a you problem. Like you don't have the skills to be able to either identify someone's issue at -1 or the path to get them to 0. Zero to one is when somebody is good and it's like, okay, how do you become great? How do you take the person who's has as the expression is flies under the radar, and how do you help them show up as the big blob on the radar, right? And that's where the incentives come in. That's where the bonuses and the raises come into play. Is you say, okay, you're doing good. Like we don't have attendance issues with you. We don't have issues with you. So here's how you become more valuable in the company. Okay, and that's the 0 to 1 conversations. And so what I've recognized is that the more that our general managers like the Elias and the Kazayas and the Kellens, when they're having 0 to 1 conversations, that's when they grow faster. When we're having a lot of -1 to 0 conversations, that's when we're either growing slow or not growing at all. Now, both conversations are important. You're going to have both conversations, but what I see happen is that most people ignore the people who are at 0 because they don't know how to get to 1, and we spend all of our time on -1 conversations to try and get people back to 0. Okay. And so we give people raises to make them feel valued, not to solve problems of them being at -1. Really, really important. Okay.
So let me clarify this because I think this is what you're saying, but for everybody else as well. So raises do not happen from -1 to 0. They happen from 0 to 1.
Exactly.
Cool.
Exactly. Exactly. And so what we need to do is if the ultimate goal of giving somebody a pay bump is to make them feel valued, then we also need to clearly define what it takes to become more valuable. Okay, so that's what the basis of what we're talking about today. Okay, I think the biggest mistake that we make as business owners is that we create a mystery around how to grow. We'll see. We talk about what could be, and sometimes we just actually don't have all the information. We don't really know what the path looks like. And so Kate and I talked about this before we get ready to do this call, is that we're going to spend the majority of our time talking about cleaners. We'll talk a little bit about office staff, but the reason that we're going to talk about cleaners today is because we just have a lot of experience with cleaners. We've hired a couple hundred cleaners by this point, just this year alone. We've been in business for 5 years. We just like when you are able to go through the volume of cleaners that we have and be able to test things and to see how people respond to certain incentives and how they don't respond to certain incentives, and you also have multiple locations, we just have more data. And so the goal for today is for us to share with you guys what we're doing for cleaners specifically. And we'll talk about our office staff to some degree. With that being said, it's we don't have as much experience. We've only hired, I think, like 15 office staff. So like we're still pretty new to that. We don't have as much, we don't get as much feedback because we don't get as many turnovers. The irony is that like we learn more from the turnovers than we do from people staying.
Yeah, our top cleaner today in Mesa. I had the privilege of actually leading the team meeting today in Mesa. And our top cleaner was like, I've been counting, and since I have been here, which she has been here 80 weeks, so she's been employed with the company for 80 weeks, she says, I have seen 200 people come and go. And everybody else was like, are you serious? And she's like, yeah, absolutely.
That's
It's like,
awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. By the way, she's a freaking superstar as well. Like she's one of these people right here of like how this incentive structure came from, of like, how do you keep someone like that on your team? Like worth it. By the way, Katie, how many times has she called out in the 80 weeks that she's been here?
she's had requested time off 3 times, and 0 times has she not shown up to work. And her requested time off is well in advance, like 2, 3, 4 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, yeah, she makes good money too. She between all three companies, she makes the most money. Um, and it's because she's the most incentivized. She's the most bonused. And so we're gonna talk about that, guys, with you guys here today. Like, and this is not a slight to anybody on here, but there's a high probability she makes more money than some of you guys do. And I just mean that because like she's an employee and you guys are business owners, but like very high probability she makes more money than a lot of people on here as a cleaner, which is a good thing. Which is a good thing. Okay, so let's talk about it. Okay, so one of the most important ways in order for you guys for us to set uh, pay and then bonus raises and things that go above what their current pay is like actually using historical data. And this is again where most people don't have data, and this is where it's hard. And that's why like I really hope you guys use this as a resource, and you guys can either choose to like do your own thing, or you guys could choose to use 200 cleaners in one location as enough data for you to be like, okay, maybe these guys know what they're doing, or at least have better idea what they're doing than I do. And so we have used historical data from Bozeman, our first location, to guide Mesa. And now we're using Bozeman and Mesa to guide Sacramento, which is our newest location. And so what our pay looks like for cleaners specifically. What does base pay look, or excuse me, what does it look like for cleaners, Katie?
Yeah. So they are paid a base revenue share to meet the standard.
Yeah. Yeah. So every cleaner has a base. Okay. It's base. And that base is it's above minimum wage, right? Because it has to be. But the goal is that everyone has a base, but then we want to give them a bonus that's tied to results. And so, what are some of the bonuses that our cleaners earn based on results?
Attendance. So if they have no absences, they are bonused.
Yeah.
If they get Google reviews,
Hold on, hold on. Let's stick on this one for a second. So, if you guys are unfamiliar with Star Pay, the way that our cleaners are paid is they're not paid hourly. They're on a base revenue share. Okay. And so if a client, for example, uh, is charged $200 for a clean, then the cleaner gets a base percentage. And so all of our cleaners start at 30% base. Okay. So in this example, 30% of $200 is a cleaner would earn $60 for this clean. And so this clean would probably be roughly about 3 hours long, which means that the cleaner in this sense would earn a base of around $20. So their base pay would be around $20 in this example.
$20 per hour.
$20 per hour. You are correct, Katie. So now, now you're saying that they get an attendance bonus. What does that mean? What does it look like?
Yeah. So we attendance is based on a week's time span. And if they have perfect attendance or no absences, this includes excused absences like RTO or paid time off, or requested or call outs, excuse me, unexcused absences, they earn a bonus.
You know, and so in Sacramento, our newest location, that bonus is 35% as an example, and it's also the same in Mesa as well. And so now, instead of earning, if they just showed up all week, this clean that they originally got paid 30% on, now that they get paid 35%. So let's just do the same math here. So now they earned $70 for this clean, and we divide that by the 3 hours. Now they earned $23.3 per hour. So they got a $3 an hour raise. How many of you guys think that's a pretty significant raise for
Yeah.
doing what are we incentivizing?
Showing up.
Okay. So in a room full of cleaning business owners, is that important for your cleaners to show up?
Yes. Another cleaner of ours said the biggest complaint that they get when they walk into a client's house today was the last company just didn't even show up.
Yeah. So like it's not a secret, guys. Like this is the biggest problem we're all trying to solve in this business is reliability. And it's the reason that like when Katie and I, we did other pay structures before this, and like when we came with Star Pay, it was like we want to directly solve the biggest problem in the industry. And so we give someone a $3 an hour raise to just simply show up. And that's, by the way, to all the cleans throughout the week. So that, I mean, the $3 an hour a week, like that $3 an hour, like it adds up over the course of 30 hours. That's an extra $100 a week. Okay. We only do W-2 cleaners. We only do employees. Okay. So now we have an attendance bonus. So that's the first bonus that someone can earn every single week. Katie, what's another bonus that they can earn?
Google reviews.
Google reviews. Cool. What does that mean?
They get tipped on by the company. So on behalf of the company, that we give them a tip every single time that they earn a Google review.
Yeah. Why? Why would we as the company tip the cleaner for getting a Google review?
Two things. First is they delivered a 5-star experience,
Yeah.
proven by a 5-star review.
Probably the most important thing, guys. Like if our whole goal is to deliver a 5-star experience, what is the measurement? How do you know?
5-star review.
This honestly came from Katie and I coaching, and like every person we coach, like everyone has the best team, everyone has the best cleaners, everyone has the best business. And so eventually I was just like, well, show me. Like let's find a way to measure it. This is a way to measure. Is it the only way? Of course not. But is it a way? And is it a valid way? This is the best way I know.
Yeah, I think it's the best because it's twofold. So one is absolutely we've delivered that 5-star experience that time, but it pays for future clients as well because it builds your brand, it builds
Yeah,
your reputation.
yeah. It's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Google reviews. The cleaners get a tip when they get a Google review that either they were on the clean and or that mentions their name. Okay. So that's another way that they can earn a bonus. And then Katie, what is the third way that the cleaners can earn a bonus?
Yeah, the third way is a new employment bonus.
Yeah. So originally, we actually did this on Google reviews, and we have since changed this to attendance. And so we've done it both ways. And what we now for a new employment bonus is that once cleaners hit certain milestones of bonus weeks, they've hit attendance bonuses. Once they've hit a certain number of milestones of attendance bonuses, then they get a bonus. And so we currently do $1,000 new employment bonus, and it's structured out over the course of somebody hitting these attendance bonus milestones. And yeah, I think that there's a lot of people inside our community that use the Google review bonus or that use a new employment bonus. But what I've discovered is like most cleaners never hit them because they don't have the skills. They weren't taught the skills to get Google reviews. And so what I discovered is that if we made the new employment bonus even just one step simpler, but also more valuable because it's what we all really want, and we end up changing it to attendance bonus, it actually makes it more realistic for the cleaner to believe they can hit it because it's just a matter of like, can I show up? Yes, I can show up. And then if you just do it this many times, then you get a bonus. And so that is what we have switched it to. And it definitely, it's just another layer of incentivizing. In the long term, what we want is people to show up consistently. So we have the short-term bonus of like every single week they get the attendance bonus. Every single week they have an opportunity. And then the new employment bonus, it incentivizes long-term showing up. Because every time that they show up, it accumulates. And then once they hit certain milestones, then they get nice little bonuses that add up to $1,000. Okay. So those are the bonuses. And just for you guys who are wondering, if you guys are inside the mentorship, like Devin, there's a whole module on Google reviews. I would highly recommend going through that module. Um, Again, back to what I was talking about earlier. Like these modules, guys, inside the mentorship, they are not what I think. They're not what should. They are what we do. Okay. They're what we have done in order to do $75,000 in a week. And Google reviews, Katie, how many Google reviews does Mesa have? Did you guys say this morning?
700 and some,
Okay.
726 or something.
726. How many does Bozeman have?
426-ish.
Yeah, almost 450. I think they're at 446. And then SAC, do you know what SAC has?
350-ish.
375. So altogether, it's over 1,500 reviews, giving you guys the systems of what we've done, not what should be. Okay, so like, there's a Google review module. Go through the Google review module, follow it to a T. Not just the things you want to do, not just the things you like from it, just the way it is. Okay. Okay. So we have bonuses tied to results. This is, I guess that's another one, Katie. I know it's under benefits on here, and this is the first time we ever talked about this publicly. So I guess we'll share a little bit today. But what other benefits are we now providing?
Gas cards.
Yeah. Yeah. So gas cards are, if you guys listen to your cleaners, I'm sure some of you guys have heard this, like it's probably the biggest complaint. If you guys are using if you guys are specifically using StarPay, or if you guys don't directly compensate for gas, like this is probably the biggest complaint, and we heard it, and yeah, so we made it an incentive. So it's not a base, it's not part of their base pay, guys, but they can earn the opportunity to get this benefit of a gas card, and we've been doing it for 5 months, I think now, since July or August, one of those 2 months, so 4 or 5 months, and yeah, it's a good benefit. It works. And I'll share this with you. I'll share this. So this is, I don't know if I should share this, but I will share it with you guys. So when Keziah, our office person, when she became the general manager in, I think it was like March or April of this year, she got more responsibilities. So like as she got a bigger title, she got more responsibilities. And one of those responsibilities was she had to, I don't know, of ordering. Oh yeah, ordering was ordering supplies and things like that. And I remember Katie ordered her a company card, and when she got the card, I just like watched her reaction to the card, and she was like so jacked. She was so jacked. She's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe I have a company card." I was like, "Bro, like it's a card for you to like order supplies on. Like it's not your card. I mean, it had her name on it, but it was a card for her just to order for like other people, not for herself. But like she was so jazzed about it. I was like, interesting, right? Just like I was like, okay. And then the first time that we did it with a cleaner, I saw the same reaction. But this time it was like actually like her money, right? Like she got to use the gas card for like her personal expenses. And I was like, "Ooh." And I did it for the second and the third and the fourth person. And every single person that we've given this gas card to, it's been like they like have a sense of ownership and they have a sense of like pride. I'm like, game changer. And again, if we go back to the very thing, it's the point of giving someone a benefit or raise is to make them feel valued. So the next question people are going to ask is how much? I'm not going to tell you how much, guys, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But what matters is that they feel valued, they feel seen. Now, it can't be $1 and it can't be $1,000, right? So, but I'm telling you guys, like the number is not important. It's just the fact they feel valued. That is important. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna talk about some of the long-term benefits that we also do as well. Okay. So Kitty, talk about the idea of our we have a base, and then we have an attendance bonus that if they get attendance, they get, as an example, 35%. But what is some of the long-term upside that we are now also providing to our cleaners?
Yeah. Long-term upsides are percentage increases for the bonus. So the
Hmm.
example that Logan said earlier was 30% base. If you have zero absences for a week, that paycheck gets bumped to 35%. Well, if you earn enough of those, you can increase that 35% to 36%.
Easy. Yeah. Yeah.
And the only way to earn the 35, 36, 37, whatever percent you have is to have zero absences.
Yeah. So it just continues to reward long-term consistency. Because even if you have a call out, as an example, we have a cleaner this morning. We actually had three cleaners, I think, that called out today, right, Katie? Three?
In Mesa, yes.
Yeah. And they were all above 35%. But this week, what is their percentage?
They will all be paid at 30%.
Because they have an absence. But it doesn't matter what the reason is.
No, unexcused or excused.
Yeah. So that's why like this is it's always it always solves the immediate problem of you guys of the like we want reliability today, but also we reward long-term reliability. It's crazy. It's crazy. Um, and then the last one, Katie, we'll touch on. We're going to talk a lot about this one because this is the newest one that we have done. We've only been doing this for probably 3 months. But what is this one?
This one is minimum base pay. So people who have proven to be reliable long term, to deliver a five-star experience consistently, we can guarantee them a minimum pay.
Yeah. When we rolled this out to Kazaya and Mesa, like I could just see the fear, like the fear just came across her face of like
She lost color in her face.
it puts a lot of pressure on the office. And it was like just at the point where um, she was learning how to fill cleaner schedules. Um, so I shared with you guys that Mesa did 25,000 last week, but which is going to blow your mind is that we had 14 cleaners, which means our average hours was 33 hours, and those are assigned hours, Marie Jed. I just see you on my screen. Those are not work hours. Those are assigned hours, and like to be able to fill a schedule like that, it takes some freaking skill. It doesn't happen on accident. And Alaya, again, the Otani of Mesa 5-star cleaning, like she came in and she showed Kazaya how to do that. She taught her the skill. And I watched Mesa go from averaging 20 to 25 hours a week to now averaging 30 to 35 hours a week. And when you're able to do that, your cleaners just get bomb paychecks, and you can just do more with less, more with less. And by doing that, we can also then offer this, which is a minimum commission, which means that if for some reason we can't fill your schedules, then we're going to pay you this number. And that takes some courage, that takes some balls. And excuse me, um, whatever. It takes
Cojones.
cojones. There you go. That's the right word. Uh, it takes courage. That's what it takes, guys. It takes courage. And yeah, so when we implemented it, we didn't know if it was going to work, but it definitely works in a sense of like it provides a lot of value to the cleaners. And a situation like this week, as an example, is a perfect example of where they get the benefit. Is that they basically get paid holidays, which essentially is what it comes down to. And we did this for Thanksgiving was the first week where we actually had to pay out. But do you remember what the number was, Katie? I think we had at the time we had four cleaners who were eligible for this minimum commission. And do you remember what the total payout was that we had
It
to pay
was
out?
almost 1,000.
Yeah. But basically each cleaner on average made an additional $250 that week for not working. And that was a benefit that us as the company provided to them for earning the status. And by the way, this status specifically, this specific one, they can lose it. And so, for example, this week, as we have Christmas coming up, we actually have 6 cleaners that have reached the status, but only 5 cleaners are actually eligible because one cleaner dropped below the the number that she needed in order to maintain this status to get this commission.
The status is also only earned if there are zero absences.
Also, correct. So also it goes back to the root of the attendance bonus of like, we guarantee them this commission contingent on them having zero absences. Everything goes back to the same thing. So the reason why I want to stress this out to people who are in the community specifically, because like this is the biggest pushback. I just saw it actually as a question in the community today of like, this cleaner had jaw surgery or something. Should she get the bonus? And actually Autumn Dell did a great job of like, yes, it sets the wrong precedent if you give them the bonus without them actually having zero attendances. So Autumn, great job.
Great job, Autumn.
And I think the more and more that you guys just feel comfortable with like zero absences means zero absences. Okay, so mind you, Katie was born and raised in Montana. I lived in Montana since I was in fifth grade, so pretty much the majority of my life. And in Montana, uh, in rural Montana, very specifically, which is pretty much all of Montana, like drinking is a pretty normal thing, right? And so Katie and I grew up in a families that like everybody drank, party, things like that. And so everyone knows that in Montana specifically, that you can blow what's called a point oh 0.08 alcohol limit and still be under the limit as far as getting a DUI. Okay. Well, in Arizona, some of you guys might not know this, but specifically where we live in Arizona is the biggest Mormon population per capita. Um, and Katie and I are fascinated with religion, and I'm not necessarily religious myself, but I'm very fascinated with religion and understanding people's like the cultures and values and things like that. And like I really am enamored with the Mormon culture and what they do. And like generally speaking, again, there's always the 1%, there's always outliers. But like generally speaking, like the Mormon religion, like it is like people call it cultish, but that's because like a lot of people follow the rules. Like plain and simple. Like you don't like it's yeah, they like people follow the rules. Um and Nettie smiles. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's funny. Um but I think there's a lot of value in following rules, first off, right? So like again, back to the community. Like if you guys just like had a cult-like mentality, just like follow the freaking system, you would be a lot better. Like full transparency. Okay. Um, but anyway, back to like to the Mormon like religion, like it's generally a safe, it's like very safe. It's a safe baseline, um, you know, considering like there's definitely outliers, right? Um, where's I going with that, Katie? Where's the
Point oh 0.08.
point? Wait, yeah. So in Arizona, it's zero. It's zero tolerant. What do they call it? Zero.
Zero tolerance.
Yeah,
If you
zero
blow
tolerance.
anything,
Yeah.
you get a DUI.
And so I think about this as like we started this location in Montana, and so we were like, okay, like you guys can change star pay to up to point oh 0.08. Like you guys can change your things, but now we're in Arizona, like we have zero tolerance. It's if they don't show up, it's a freaking no, they get no bonus. Okay. So you guys can choose. You guys can either choose Montana or you guys can choose Arizona. But you'll have it so much easier if you just go zero tolerance. And like if somebody doesn't show up, like you don't enforce it. It's just what it is. Like you don't get the bonus. Okay. And by doing that, you actually teach your team how to behave. And that's actually what the goal was for. It's not to punish. Like it is not a punishing thing. It's actually to reward reliability. It's to reward showing up. Because one of the things that the team that Katie talked about today at the team meeting, actually you talked about it, Katie, because you were there, but you talked about Alyssa, who was our cleaner, who hasn't called up. We also have one other cleaner who's been here for, I think, almost like for 40 something weeks. And she has also never called out. And what did they like? What did they say? What did Alyssa specifically say? Like why she hasn't ever called out?
It was the coolest thing. Because when the whole team asked her, like, you don't get sick, like, you don't get the pukies, was the comment. And Alyssa said, no, I absolutely do. I have to show up for the client. The client is counting on me. I told him I would be there. I need to be there.
And that's what we want to reward. You reward that because you know what? It's possible, guys. It's actually possible. And the more that you believe it's possible, the more that you will not accept that it's not possible. And by the way, it's also okay to call out. It's okay to get the pukies and not show up. But also don't expect to get the bonus at the same time. Like, don't reward somebody who's sick. You reward the person who's sick who still shows up. That's what you reward. And that's how you create a culture of high performers and also a culture of clarity.
Yeah, it also eliminates the gray area for you to make emotional decisions on favoritism of I should let this person slide because they've been on my team for a year. They
Yeah,
deserve it.
yeah, it's awesome. Okay, man, we're going deep on this. I don't know if we're like we're not gonna get through all this today, Katie. This is awesome. Um, yeah. Okay. Um, so that's cleaners, guys. That's cleaners, and yeah, like nobody's heard about some of this stuff. I've been like, this is the first time I've shared this. I haven't even shared this with some of my one-on-one clients. I think Lucas has probably heard a little bit, but he's probably the only one who's probably heard even some of the stuff. But like, this is what we've been doing in the background, guys. This is what we're doing, and we're working, and we're implementing it in multiple locations now, and eventually, we'll implement it with my one-on-one clients, and then Katie's one-on-one clients as well. Like, you guys be the first ones to get to implement this, and then eventually we'll implement it to the entire mentorship. Um, but this right here, I believe, is the path to 2 million. I think the thing that's been stopping us to get to 2 million is the cleaner retention. And so we have shown that we can market and we can sell and get new clients. We can show that we can get cleaners. Again, Alyssa counted 200. Like we can definitely recruit, but we have obviously had an issue keeping. And that's what I'm most excited about right now in Mesa. Again, Mesa is the one where like we've been driving a lot of the testing. And so um, a lot of this data is stuff I do on the weekends. I track data and like this is where these systems come from and just coming from data, come from data. And the more data I get, then the more, the more, the higher probability that it works, and works the first time or at least the second time or sometimes the third time. But the cool thing about our Mesa team right now, I'm just trying to find this data real quick. So yeah, so Alyssa, who Katie was talking about, she's our longest tenured employee, just amazing human. I have so much respect for her. She's been employed 77 weeks and she's earned the bonus 73. Crazy, crazy. That's if you guys are curious, that's a 95% all-time bonus percentage. Wild. By far the best out of all of our companies, and yeah, it's just wild. It's wild. Um, and then we have another cleaner. She's been with us 28 weeks. She's made the bonus 24 weeks. That's 86%. We have another cleaner who's been with us for 43 weeks, earned the bonus 35 weeks, so that's 81%. Um, Dev, who Katie just talked about, she's been with us for 31 weeks. She's earned the bonus 29 weeks, so that's 94%. So again, like and those earned bonus, the times that she didn't earn bonus week was just RTOs. So crazy. And then yeah, and I keep going on the list, but I think most important is that like right now on our team, again, we have cleaners who've been with us from 77 weeks, 28 weeks, 43 weeks, 31 weeks, 52 weeks, 20 weeks, 14 weeks, 13 weeks, 11 weeks, 11 weeks, 9 weeks, 8 weeks. And we just onboarded somebody for the first time last week, so she's 2. But like we went from recruiting and hiring 2 or 3 people a week to like I'm not hiring anybody unless they're freaking awesome. Like this newest hire, I'm like I had to hire her. She was just freaking awesome. And she was also a referral. And so I'm just like, I don't have to hire anymore because like our team is really good. And also, we can also lose cleaners and we can still grow because of the fact that we can push hours. And that's also been the biggest benefit to the skill set that I talked about earlier of Alai being able to share with Kazaya how to actually like increase our cleaners' hours so they can get paid more. So then we can also offer a benefit like a minimum commission. Right. So awesome. All right, Katie, we're not gonna get through all this today, but anything else that you want to add to
Yeah,
this?
I think just to sum the entire conversation up today is if you don't have rules around your pay, or that if your rules are gray because you don't have clarity on them, your team becomes very entitled
Yeah.
because it depends on your mood whether or not you fulfill on something.
Yeah.
And We all know how long our moods last and how they ebb and flow. It's not a good foundation to base anything off of. So when we can create clarity for our cleaners and our team and really truly incentivize the problems in the business, which there's really only two problems in this business, and it's reliability. Like, can your team show up? And the second is, can they deliver a 5-star experience? If you can solve for those two factors and you can incentivize for those two factors, the rest becomes pretty simple.
Hmm. I think Katie just made it really simple, really simple. And this game, guys, if you can make it simple, you have a probability to win because just because it's simple doesn't make it easy. But when it's simple, it becomes easier to focus on what matters. And then we can let go of the things that don't matter, that distract us from the goal. Right. So, yeah, we didn't make it very far on our sheet. So, like, there's a sheet that we're going to put in into the notes for this call. So, if you guys are in the free home cleaning courses group, James will upload this call in there and he'll put the notes in there. And there's a lot of notes that we didn't get a chance to go through. So you guys can go through some of the notes. We talk a little bit about office staff in there as well. So you guys can go through that. And then if you guys are in the mentorship, this will also be inside there as well. Be good for you guys. That you guys can go through the notes as well. And
I have one more thing to add on to that. So going from entitlement pay to actually performance like based incentivizing what you actually want. When somebody on the team earns something, the likelihood of them leaving goes down because they have earned their title, because they have invested 41 of the last 44 weeks to earn these bonuses. It's really hard to walk away from that. Like, it's them increasing their status week after week after week after week. And if they go find new employment at another entry level job, they don't get to take that status with them. So people stick around longer.
yeah, I'm gonna tell you guys a quick story on this. I saw this last week. I found it. Oh my God, this is so good. The benefit that you guys get for being inside this coaching mentorship is that you get something that's tested and it's proven. But I also want to share with you guys the other side of it is that, like, a lot of these things, it took a lot of courage. It took a lot of like shit. Like, this could go really south. We could create a really big problem. And and we realized that we were gonna actually have to probably go too far. We were gonna have to go too far and make it so like we had to like kick cleaners out of here because clearly our system wasn't working to keep cleaners on. And so we had to go really far and that's the price that we're paying to try to figure out how to solve this problem of cleaner retention. And last week we had a cleaner who had just earned the status, and we call it priority status. Okay. And I saw this message in the group, and it was like it almost made me cry because it was the confirmation of what we believed before we saw. And I'll read this message to you guys. So this is a message from the cleaner to Keziah. And Keziah had a -1 to 0 conversation. You guys remember earlier, right? We have a problem. And so this person had just earned the status and we had an issue with her. And so Keziah had the conversation with her and she said, here's her response. She says, I just worked my way up to priority cleaner. There's no way I'm going to mess this up. I'm not going to let you guys down. I want to say thank you for giving me grace and allowing me to make it right. I'm trying to prove my worth on this team. That's the confirmation I needed. That's all I needed to know that, like what Katie just said, if you give people the opportunity to earn things, They don't want to mess it up. They don't want to lose it. And the reason that this is hard is because you cannot give things to people. You must teach them how to get better, how to be consistent, how to be reliable, how to deliver a 5-star experience,
How to earn it.
how to earn it. And so that's the reason why, like, full transparency, like, very few of you guys are actually going to get your hands on the system because you're going to mess it up because you don't have the skill sets. Because you just want to be, because you think it's actually just you like, give me the incentives, give me what the gas card is, give me what the minimum salary is. And it's not any of those things. It's the skill set to be able to take somebody where they're at and teach them how to earn the path to get to those things. Because guess what? Teaching somebody how to be reliable, guys, it's not just be like, show up. Like, it actually requires a conversation. It requires asking questions. It requires you coaching. And full transparency, most of you guys don't have those skills. And you know why you don't have those skills? Because you don't let people coach you. Full transparency. You don't learn things on accident. You're not a natural at anything. I made a living for the last 12 years doing one thing, and that's coaching. Like, there's just a low probability that anybody in here is ever going to get as close as I am because I still do the thing and I do it at a higher volume than anybody does it. And I probably at this point I probably just care more because I also like I have more wins, which means that like I'm higher probability that like I will just like I've been reinforced for it so many times that I will do it without getting paid. Which, by the way, in the beginning I did not get paid, and now I coach a lot for free because I did get paid very well in between there. And so there's just a low probability that there's just a low probability that anyone's ever going to outcoach me because I just have more reps. And so again, the goal is not for you to compete against me; it's to collaborate with me. And so whether you coach with me in a one-on-one setting or you're inside our mentorship, you're coaching with Katie or Lucas or somebody else, like, if you want to become a better coach, it starts with you also getting coached, right? And then also you taking the time to coach your people. And that's one of the reasons that people struggle is because they think it's it's not your person's problem. It's your ability to communicate how to solve said problem. When you stop believing that everything is someone else's problem, you start to make everything your problem and that like you can help people. Now, if they don't want the help, totally fine. But in my experience, most people do want help. They just don't. They either don't feel calm enough to raise their hand and say they want help, and then if they do, then they don't have a path on how to actually get better. And so that's what this is giving you guys an outline of how to create clarity. So that way, when a cleaner says, "Hey, I want to make more money," you're like, "I want you to make more money too." Well, can you give me a raise? Absolutely not. But you can earn a raise. Okay, how do I do that? Let me show you. Like, that's how every conversation should go. Anytime that somebody in our company gets a raise or something like that, a bonus incentive, like, I'm very clear. It's not for me. I did not do this. You did this. You put yourself in a situation where it was impossible not to pay you $700 million. You're so freaking good. I had to crack open the checkbook and I had to give you all the monies because you're freaking worth it. Like, it wasn't me, it was you. I think that if you guys always come from a position of like, you don't give people anything outside of opportunity, you give people pathways, but you don't give people money. No way. In fact, it's not even the way it actually works. The way it actually works is the client gives you money and then you're just holding that money to disperse it to the people who helped you get the money in the first place. Right? So, Merry Christmas, guys. Like, this right here can transform your life. I just like, if you guys understand how to help people get what they want, then like you'll get whatever you want in life by helping other people get what they want first. It's a game of sequence. And I started this conversation out by telling you guys that we did $74,000 in revenue last week. And the only way we could have done that is because we have superstars like Alaya, Kazaya, and Kellen on our team. And also, by the way, like, they have superstar cleaners who work their butts off for them. And those cleaners specifically work for them, not for Katie and I. They work for those three people. And so This is the path, is for you guys to have incentive structures for cleaners. And then we'll probably do another call like this eventually for office staff, and then show you guys how to provide the same pathway for office staff as well. But every single person in here, you can start with your cleaners first. Those are your people. Those are your people who are delivering the 5-star experience. They're the ones who interact with the clients. You gotta start there first. So we appreciate you guys for showing up today. Happy freaking Christmas week. If you guys are inside the community, there's a coaching call tomorrow. We're moving it from Wednesday because Wednesday is Christmas Eve, and apparently people like to do things on Christmas Eve. So that call is going to be on Tuesday, and I'm wearing the Santa hat because I'm actually going to deliver some actual presents to you guys. Oh, I actually have a present for you guys today. I totally forgot. I so forgot. Okay. So Tuesday, I have presents for the community. Fun stuff. Okay. Get on the call on Tuesday. I'm going to share some presents with you guys, but I actually have a present for you guys today too, for people who are not inside the community. Okay. People who are not inside the mentorship. So, inside the free home cleaning courses group, I just actually moved a module that used to be in the mentorship group. I moved it to give you guys access to it in the free home cleaning courses group, and that is the ZenMaid training. So if any of you guys use ZenMaid, then you guys have a ZenMaid training that I made specifically on how to use it. And if you have no CRM, use ZenMaid. It's very simple. And if you're not using ZenMaid, well then, by golly, it's not a good present for you, right? It's like coal. It's like getting coal for Christmas. It's useless. But that module is released now inside the free home cleaning courses group. So Merry Christmas to the free home cleaning courses group. And then if you guys are not inside the mentorship, James will drop the link. He keeps dropping the link in there. So he keeps reminding me, if you guys want to apply for the mentorship, you guys can, and you guys can have access to a system that, our businesses are doing okay. But most importantly, people like Marie Jed and Autumn Dell, Nettie, who else is on here today? Julia Callahan, Kayla, Janessa. These are all people who've been in the group for a while, whose businesses have significantly grown. And if you guys can go through the success stories inside the free home cleaning courses group, and you guys can see all the stories. They're all real humans. You guys can even message them if you want. And I would message them. I would try to connect with them like they're humans. Like they're not fake. This is not AI, guys. These are real humans with real stories. And the cool thing about the mentorship is that it's for life. So like there's no, like, once you're in, you're in. You don't get kicked out. And that's honestly, like, if you guys want to know the secret of why we have like big success stories, it's because big success takes time. And if I kick people out after 6 months, we would not have big success stories. Like, that's my secret. Like, it's the only thing that we do differently. I shouldn't say it's the only thing. It's one of the things. Again, like, this is not one thing. It's how you do all the things. But I would say a big catalyst for our growth is that people get kicked out. So like, if you just are in something for a long enough period of time and you eventually follow the freaking system, like, eventually you will grow. So that's all. So if you want to join. If not, I'll just keep taking all the money for myself. I'll take all the money for myself, right? Whatever. But would more than love to share the strategy, share the growth, share the experience with you guys as well. So happy freaking Monday. And again, for you guys who are inside the mentorship, get on the coaching call tomorrow. It's at 4 p.m. Eastern. Lucas is going to start it and answer some questions, and then I'm going to come in and play Santa Claus and release some cool things that are going to increase the probability that you guys all get to at least 1 million in 2026. And then, like, honestly, my focus is on 2 million. So we're going to get this thing to 2 million. That way, by the time you slow pokes get to 1 million, then at least you know the path to get to 2. So happy freaking Monday. See you guys all tomorrow. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.